I'm Beth Erickson, Obedience Director at Chisholm Creek Pet Resort and owner of Invisible Fence of Central Kansas. Welcome to our first online instructional videos for our puppy classes and basic classes. We look forward to being able to help you while we're all sheltering in place. And Coco and I are excited to get started today. So we're going to start out today showing Coco that we like the positions of sit, down, and stand. And we're going to show you how to start teaching those. When we teach young puppies, we use food as a lure because they're going to learn much more quickly if we can get them to go into position, good girl, without physically pushing or pulling on them. So I'm holding a big pile of food in my hand so that she stays focused. I'm going to move my hand slowly from right in front of her nose to up and over the back of her head. Good girl. When her fanny hits the floor, I sound happy. Food goes into her mouth. Good job. Or she misses it. Good girl. Good. This turns into good girl, my cue for sit. You can start to say sit, but it's not going to benefit you a whole lot until she's figured out that this position is what's turning on the cookie button. Now when you use the lure, if the puppy's jumping at your hand, then you're holding the food too high. Sometimes when you move the food, they just walk backwards. If they do that, just put them between you and a wall, and eventually gravity will set her into the floor. So this turns into sit. Good girl. There it is. Good. The same time that the food goes into her mouth, I also sound happy. Sit is the very best skill to start with because it alleviates a lot of other problems. If I'm rewarding my puppy a lot for sitting, then she's not on me either. Sit is just our hand moving down to up towards the back. Sit. Good girl. We're also going to start to teach her to lie down. For lie down, I'm going to start from her being in a sit. I'm going to hold the food so that my knuckles are on top. Come here, little starving puppy. Easy. And I'm going to slowly lower the food towards the floor. Good girl. When her elbows touch the floor, food goes into her mouth and I sound happy. Good job. Pretty quickly, I'm going to ask her to do more than one thing in a row. Good girl. Good. Good girl. Before she actually gets a bite of food. And then as you're practicing, you'll start to have food in both hands. You can get her to do a behavior, good, but then feed her from the opposite hand so that she doesn't always have to see it here in order to think she might get it. So we have sit and down, good girl, good. And also we can get her back up into a sit and work on stand. And stand isn't any more complicated than that. We just wiggle the food, move it forward. Good girl. She gets praised and fed when she's standing. Oh, good girl. Good. I'm also going to start showing her that it feels good to come when she's called. And I want to remember that my signals and body language are a much stronger cue to a puppy this size and age than my spoken words. So when I call her to me, I want to make sure my body language communicates come to me. So I'm going to wiggle my fingers and walk backwards and then make myself smaller by bending at the knees. Coco, come. Good girl. Good job. She comes in, I would gently touch her collar if she was wearing one. Good job, and give her a little treat. Good girl. You want to practice calling your puppy randomly throughout the house and giving him a little reward, and then letting him play some more so that when they come to you, they don't always think it means you're going to put them away or take away whatever it is they have in their mouth that they shouldn't have. We want it to feel good to come when they're called and it to not to be the end of the party. So I'm going to let her just kind of wander around a little bit. This is attack the camera. Coco! Coco, come! Good girl! Good! She comes in, she gets a little snack, a little lovin'. She gets to go be a puppy again. Doing it this way, she thinks that coming when she's called is really fun. Also, as she's coming in, you see her starting to jump up. I'm going to start a good girl. I'm going to start to make sure I feed her when she sits, when she comes to me. So again, our body language and our words need to communicate the same thing. Very slow. I'm going to break my legs. Coco, come. Good girl, sit. Excellent work. Good girl. Very good. And as she holds that sit, good girl. I'm periodically going to reward her again. So she's thinking, this lady's like a Pez dispenser. As long as I sit and stare at her, she will keep producing treats.